Well, hello. All right, so I made it to the lake and didn't take any video. Pretty much just surveying what's going on. Try to get the lay of the land and the story of where I can find this bracelet. The story, as I understand it, is this bracelet was this person's grandmother's bracelet, and I'm really hoping I can find it. I spent about 4 hours looking today. No luck. But since then, I've gotten some additional information, and I'm hoping that'll help. Anyway, so what I've got going on is it's later in the afternoon now, of course, but I'm out here, as you can probably see, out here at a lava flow. I'll turn you around. And out here in some kind of a, looks to be a lava dome on this end. So I came out here and decided to go ahead and set up camp, kind of get things going after running the ROV down. Yeah, you can see the crown of the lava dome right there and the core of it. And this debris here is obviously where the roof came in. But anyway, so I found this really neat little section over here. I don't break my leg. Another collapsed section, and I can just back the truck right in here to this little thing. My hopes is that it's going to get cold tonight, so I kind of want to protect myself as much as possible. And this looks about as protected as I can get. It's pretty high up there. And so got the truck, got the tent set up. Gonna get some more other things refined. And then over here I got the ROV charging, sitting out here in the daylight, drying out a little bit. I want to make sure that my connectors down here get a chance to be completely dry. I will be putting more dielectric grease on these fittings and stuff before tomorrow's dive. And got the radio transmitter and screen charging. That was my first priority when I got to camp. So I got its charging up here now. Yeah, it's still flashing here, which means it's taking a charge. And I got my monitor going too. Anywho, so this whole trip is pretty much, it's my first chance to come back down here for the year. I do plan on doing, Newberry? Very soon. I plan on doing Newberry. I'll be taking the Crosstrek Wilderness on that trip. And I think it's probably very well suited for that type of run. This setup here, one of my I did a short here a couple days ago about with my particular scenario and the gear that I use, which would be better, the Crosstrek or the truck. And they both have pros and cons, whatever. And this one, obviously, with the truck, kayak fits right in the bed. And you can see I got the rooftop tent on the lift rack, and you can see the pedal drive in the forward position and the seat. They clear just nicely, so that's good. You just slide it in the back and tie it down, and off you go. That works out good with the tent up top. The issue is, of course, like I mentioned in my YouTube short, is interior storage. I've already got some stuff out of the truck now. I'll show you kind of what I'm dealing with here. And that's with the passenger seat removed. And I did not bring a lot of my camera gear. So the thing is that I need to be able to have cases and gear and stuff like that secured in the vehicle when I'm out on the water. So I can't just throw them in the bed. It's not a matter of can I throw them in the bed and haul the stuff. I also need to be able to secure it. So anyway, that's what this test run was for. And I got the rack for and everything. I want to see if it'll work. It's an option. But the main focus of this trip is to attempt to recover this lady's grandmother's bracelet. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, let's face it. But there's always hope. So I'm going to continue on getting camp set up. and get it settled in because I don't want to be doing it at night. And I'll check back in a bit. Trying out the DJI Neo, and we'll see how that does. Let's take a walk over this way. Now they say that you can record audio on this, and we'll give that a bash. Now, I don't know how good the audio is, but we'll find out. The question is since I'm out here, I may as well test it out. So I normally camp up over there, right in that little area up there where that bus is, but someone was there, so I chose a different spot that I've looked at before and kind of thought about staying at. But beautiful area. I stayed here several times. So far, Neo's tracking good. Now, what you don't hear is the whining of the rotor blades, because this has got some kind of fancy hooda-dinky algorithm in it, and supposedly it filters all that out, so you don't hear it. So, because it's like right here, probably about 4 feet away from me, and it's got a little bit of a high pitch, but whatever. Nice little camp spot. So, hopefully tomorrow we'll find a spot that I suspect is a new place to look for that bracelet, and we'll see if we get it. We'll give it a bash. All right, let's see how this goes. So in this clip right here, I didn't take any audio through the DJI Neo system, which actually records your audio through the phone while eliminating the sound of the rotors. But what I wanted to do is see how it would track going through, a terrain like this. Would it avoid the rocks, so on like that? And that's kind of important. So like if you're out and you're walking through trees or you're kind of trying to film yourself doing something or a project, how well does it stick with you? And it seems to me like it did a pretty good job. You notice it stopped right there and held its distance. There's a little bit of wind going on. It's a really small drone. Not very big at all. It's got a fairly decent camera in it. I wouldn't say it's gonna, shatter any records as far as that goes, but its color saturation is good. A little bit of lens flaring when the sun hits it. You can see right there in the back of my shirt. I'm assuming by now they probably make filters for it. I may put one on, I may not, since I'm not trying to set any world records for videography for this kind of stuff. I don't know that I'll worry about it too much. Just depends on what I end up using it for down the road. I've got my regular drones for all that stuff with appropriate filters for, scenic views and stuff. But as far as a piece of equipment to be able to use, you can see its shadow there. As far as a piece of equipment to be able to use to film yourself while you're out doing something and you're all by yourself, the size of this unit, the flight time, and its capabilities to get by these big rocks and not all of a sudden jerk away with avoidance like you see on some of them. Pretty impressed with it. I think it did a pretty good job. One thing about the Neo is it follows the path that you walk. You'll see how it goes around the kayak and everything. So it sticks to your path. So if you're walking around obstacles and stuff, it's not trying to fly through trees or other things. And that could be very handy for a person filming themselves. got a little more information. I got kind of a grainy picture. I took my cell phone and took a picture of another cell phone to acquire the picture, because there's no cell service or anything up here and whatnot. And of course, I'm not exactly a tech genius, so I know these phones do like this bump share thing or whatever. I don't know. And it doesn't really matter because the picture itself is not that great, but it gives a little bit of context, possibly where it's at. So as you're looking at the ancient spring from the water where it flows out at you, there's a spit of lava that comes out, then it cuts back a little bit, and then there's another one that comes out, and then it cuts back into a cove area back there, ranging anywhere from inches deep down to about, I'd say, depends on where you are, and the topography underwater, it goes down to like, I don't know, 60, 80, 90 feet. It just depends on where you're at. The lava was pretty chaotic going through that area. Anyway, so that's where I spent, I got like 4 hours dive time in today, and with the ROV. I ain't getting in that water. So, no luck over there. But anyway, so then I got this, after the day was done, I got this, this photograph. I looked at this photograph, and in this photograph, was a picture that I think the owner took of what I've been told is the grandmother's bracelet. And I don't know if it's taken from the trail or from a kayak. I don't know. But in the photo that I got, you can kind of see a glint. This, as I understand it, this is supposed to be sterling silver and turquoise or something. So I don't know how big it is or wide, thick. I don't know any details of it. But I have, what made this picture interesting, I guess, is what I'm trying to get to here, is the type of twigs. Now, originally I thought it was by a log, so I spent a lot of time today going surfing logs, that were underwater, and I spent like all kinds of time looking at logs on different plateaus and slopes and bottoms all through the place, ranging anywhere from right at the shore out to probably, I don't know, 80, 90 yards from shore. And I know it wasn't out that far, but, try to do a thorough search. Anytime I could spot a log, I was heading that way. But in this picture, you can see some branches, and they're pretty white. And as it turns out, I know an area to the right of the ancient spring that has branches on the bottom like that I filmed before with drag cameras and probably ROV, and they're just there, and I've cruised on by them. I've noticed them over the years, and supposedly this picture is by some of those, and the description that I got was it's across the lake from the boat ramp. No real point of reference to the right or left of the ancient spring, distance from shore, or any kind of details like that. Unfortunately, I'm not in contact with the owner of the bracelet. I don't think the staff was given permission to hand that out. And honestly, the owner of the bracelet probably never expected some whack job like me would drive all the way down here with an ROV and try to recover a bracelet. Yet here I am. I really hope I can find it. But there's a little bit of renewed hope that with those types of branches, and I've seen them around the lake, but there aren't a ton of them in that area that's over there across from the boat ramp around the ancient spring. There's not a whole bunch of them like that. There are several little clusters. So that's a little renewed hope, because after 4 hours dive time today, and I was seeing nothing. You know, did it get swallowed up by the green vegetation that's 7 to 11 inches tall? Did it end up in the white substrate and just sank? And now I find out that it wasn't even lost this year. Apparently it was lost last year. So, yeah, who knows? I don't know if it's been seen this year. There's a lot of, you know, information I just don't have. And but hat tip to the staff here at the lake. They're telling me everything they know, and one of the staff members, you know who you are, thank you, reached out to this lady, and that's where this picture came from. That she sent her this picture, and then I have that picture now. So renewed hope for tomorrow, and we'll give it a bash. I'm already here, so I don't have to worry about the drive time. There is a possibility that tomorrow I can get in, you know, X amount of hours, come back and recharge and go out again, because I won't be spending the drive time from home to here. So maybe I can get a double shift in looking for this thing. But man, that'd be so awesome to get it back. So anyway, I'm just going to hang out and chill and relax for the evening. You hear that? Nothing. Man, I love it here. Hello, Mr. B. A little bumblebee. What are you doing out here? Anywho, I'll talk to you later. So on a whim, I'm looking at all this lava over here, and there's a lot of different textures to all of this stuff here. Layers and whatnots. And so I thought, well, I wonder if any of it's magnetic. And I'll show you these layers. They're pretty weird. So you can kind of see different types, like right in here, and then it, you know, cuts down here. Yeah, there's lichen on there and stuff like that, but, you know, look right there. And it's like it transitions from up here, probably where it cooled real fast or something like that. And then this stuff here, this is just like rock, you know. But, and then down under here, under part of this lava tube under here, it's all rough again. But what I noticed when I was just kind of messing around, I took one of the magnets off of one of the microphones for the DJI Pocket, and check this out. I don't know if you can see that or not. Zoom in a little bit maybe. And not me. You want to look at me. I don't know if you can see that or not. But I just kind of, I tried sticking it to some of the rocks first, the big chunks, and I wasn't getting a reading. So then I went into some of the fluff that had fallen off of it, and lo and behold, that's what I got. Just stuck to the magnet. So I just kind of thought it was interesting. A little factoid for the day. Some of this, kind of as expected, is magnetic. I'm sure it's not going to come through on the camera, but it's really cool. I can see Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. All in a row. It actually looks brighter in the camera than it really is here, but it's almost like, I mean, it's dark around here, but the sky is almost dark. But unfortunately, the planets won't come through, I'm sure. But it is so incredibly quiet here. I love it. Do a little bit of stargazing before I go to bed. I should point out real quickly that claw attachment that's right there in the view. In most of my videos, I use the ROV, you don't see that. It's detached and I take it off the unit because it doesn't really make for good film. But obviously for this particular job, I wanted to have it on there in case I find trash or, while I was trying to locate the bracelet, if you got the claw in there, you can grab it. So that's why it's kind of like right in your face in this part. It's a very handy tool. When you need it, you really need it. So while I was here, I wanted to take another look at this tree. You'll notice the base of it, it gets real thin right here, like a razor's edge. Right in there. You see how thin that thing is. So that's just the outer, what's left of it. And this is right off the boat docks. Luckily, they stopped people from fishing off there because, as you can see, that particular tree is at great risk of coming down. And obviously, it's short-lived. It's going to take somebody tapping it with an oar, or a paddle, or, somebody trolling through there or something of the sort to hook on that thing, and it's all over. I'm lucky that I've got it filmed while I do. And yes, that piece of paper sitting over there, I did recover that. It's out of the lake. So, I got about, 10 hours in on the lake today, looking for that bracelet. One of the first things I found out was that it was lost 2 years ago. I did get better information about where it was, don't know. And I did a lot of searching. Today the winds picked up today, and so when I'm trying to do visual, searches from the top looking through the water, as soon as the wind comes up, it makes all the ripples in the water, and then you can't really see down in there very well. So, but I did get several hours of relatively good visibility, pretty good visibility actually, in the early morning, and then so on. And then after that, what I would do is I would sidestep the kayak and use the kayak to break the wind, and I could look over the edge and just drift sideways. And that worked out pretty good. So I was able to get in some good time. I did some dive time too. Thought I had it once, actually. It's kind of funny. I'm cruising along, this little glint of light hit something silver, and I was like, oh, geez, man, maybe that's it. And it looked about the same. It's the photograph that I got about where it was at in the water. I'll grab some of these. So there's a bunch of little tiny sticks like this that are in there, and actually one of them's curved like that, and they're just kind of randomly laying around it, and this bracelet is supposed to be, or was, I don't know, pretty close to those. And there's supposed to be a big log next to it. Well, that region over there, there's some relatively large logs down there. So which log? That log is not in the picture, so it'd be a lot easier to identify a particular log than a bunch of little sticks. But I really tried. I tried. I'm not going to say I didn't have fun, because anytime I come to this lake, I obviously have fun. So, you know, no harm, no foul there. The great reward would have been able to get that bracelet back to this lady for Mother's Day. So I kind of have a little bit of a bummer on that. It is what it is. I did my best, and either it wasn't good enough, or the bracelet may have been found by somebody. I don't know when she took that last picture. I've asked the staff to reach out to this lady and give her my contact information, and perhaps in the future we can meet up here and she can say it's right next to that log right there, and we can commence to go into town on that spot. You know, when you look around here, imagine all this is underwater with a lot of logs and sticks and no truck. And you know, it's somewhere out there, and it's very difficult to locate something like that, especially possibly it may not even be there. It's not like it was lost today or something like, yeah, I just dropped it, it's right over there. So I could be chasing my tail. I just have no idea. But it was certainly fun looking. But so now I'm at the camp setting up, and I got the tent up already, and got my sleeping bag in there, and I got my mat and my pillows, and got a jackery up there with an electric blanket. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna probably use it. If I need it, I'll use it. I actually turned it on for about an hour last night, kind of to see what it would feel like. Don't know that I needed it, but I wanted to see, because I just have it on top of my sleeping bag, because I seem to recall as a kid or something like that, you're not supposed to be sleeping on them or have them touching you. I don't know, something like that. You know, that requires reading directions, and I ain't got time for that. So anyway, it's over the sleeping bag. So it has a timer on it, which is probably standard, but hey, kind of cool. I don't know. So I set it for 1 hour, turned it on level 3, and let it rip. And that's the last I remember, because I went to sleep. So anywho, that's kind of the thing. It's a good trip, really. I mean, anytime I come here, it's a good trip. I'm at obviously a different spot on the lava field campground than what I normally am. Same lava flow, but this is kind of a neat spot because I got great skyline, I got trees around and stuff like that. And so up there, over there on top of that crest where I normally like to be at, there's no trees right on top. There's some around the outer perimeter. The one I was at last night inside the lava dome, there's no trees down in that area. But this has some fresh vegetation. And it's kind of a pretty spot. And I checked this was wild. I have a digital protractor thing on my phone. You can check level. And you're not going to believe this. I back in here, and on the other side of this is a little bush, and I needed to back the truck up just past the bush so there's room for my ladder, so I don't step down the ladder into the bush. I backed it up in there, left it in park, hit the e-brake, got up, set the protractor on both angles. It's completely level this way. That way is 0.6 degrees off level, with it technically leaning that way by 0.6 degrees. I'll take it. Anyway, so the next run out that I plan on doing, like I said, I'm going to go to Newberry Volcano, and I'll be taking the cross truck on that one. I think I mentioned that. And again, the Newberry's got Paulina and East Lake, and I understand that there's a place called Paulina Peak, I was told. And supposedly you can drive up there or something. So I don't know. It's going to be an adventure for me, and hopefully I'll be making an adventure for you too. And yeah, so this trip, while I didn't find the end goal, I would say that anytime I come here, I always discover something, which I did. Actually, I did. In my videos, if you look at some of my, let me sidestep here. In my videos, if you look at some of mine with the ROV and I'm down low, and even some of the drag cameras too, in the white substrate, the white detritus and stuff that's down there, you'll notice these little lines. And late this last year, I ran across a piece of wood that was down deep, brought it up, and it had what looked to be eggs on it. And they look just like snail eggs, like I have in my home aquarium. Well, it turns out I was right, because today, last Monday when they released a bunch of fish in the lake, every time they dump them in, because this water's so much colder than the hatcheries, you know, some of them don't make it. And there's probably like, I don't know, 8, 10 fish out of the 7,000 they dumped in. It was like an emergency dump. I guess they had a pH crash at the hatchery, so they had to get them all out of there. Anyway, so they brought them here, they dumped them in, and there's some out there. But point is out in the main channel, there was a fish down there at the bottom in the white substrate, and I zoomed in with the ROV. Don't know if I got that on film or not. If I did, I'll put it in. And anyway, I got in with the ROV, and the snails were all on this fish. So there is other life in this lake other than just the fish. I kind of suspected it was a snail because something had to be making those little tracks down there, but, you know, never seen them, so it was nice to finally see them. So anyway, with that, I think the trip was a success as far as having a good time and experiencing nature and things like that, which I love to do. And we'll pick this story up next time, hopefully meeting up with the owner of that bracelet. So this is Dana Price with Amber Dog Productions. Experience nature. I'll see you out there.